Hello, everyone. It's Michael Fair from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the director of the Oregon Short Film Festival. And we just got wrapped up with Oregon Short Film Festival Winter 2023, which is our first seasonal event for Oregon Short Film Festival. And it was indeed winter. It snowed quite a bit, to the point where my travel was disrupted to my own festival. But luckily, Zayami Eccles-Irwin was there, my assistant director, to run the show. And the show must go on. We had a great crowd. And one of the films that screen there, won an award as well, and was nominated for another. The Diagnosis. We're joined by Carolyn Bacon, who had many roles in this film. Hello, Carolyn. How are you?
Hi, Michael. I'm great. I'm great.
Thanks a lot for joining us, and I'm glad that you braved the elements and made it to Oregon.
Yes, yes, me too. Thank you for having me. And we had a couple of New Yorkers we were delayed, but we arrived. So it all yeah.
Well, you did better than me. I was suggested I should fly from San Antonio to New York first before going to Oregon, and it seemed like a bit of a Bermuda Triangle, so I decided against it. So, well, for those of you who may not have been there to see your film, can you give us a brief synopsis in your own words? What is this film about?
Yes. So this film is a phone call between two sisters who are confronting their mom's recent Alzheimer's diagnosis. One is a medical student. That's the character I play, and she's speaking with her sister, who is still back home caretaking for her mom. And so we have some clash between that. The perspective of the ambitious medical student who kind of wants to keep digging for answers, and the sister who's the caretaker and really kind of at the heart of what's actually happening on the ground. So the conversation goes from there.
Well, the category that you were nominated for was a best relationship drama, and we make that category because there are so many different flavors of dramas. Someone who's going through, losing everything financially and building themselves back up isn't all necessarily about something between a mother and a daughter, or between two sisters, or something like that. And so you're recognized for this work, and it's mainly for the dynamic between these two characters, one of which looks very familiar. Can you talk to me about why you wanted to take the role in this acting?
Yes. So this film I originally wrote as a scene for my own acting reel. I started, actually, my first degree was in neuroscience. I started as a pre-med student, got all the way to the end of that degree. And long story short, there was one thing that I felt like I needed to try before I went to medical school. And that was just to kind of see the potential of an arts career. So I went back to school, got my master's degree in music, eventually got myself to New York City, where I started doing more acting, theater, and in the TV film world. So I, as an actor, really wanted to be telling stories using this science background that I have. And I kind of make the joke, like, I used to want to be a doctor. Now I want to be a doctor on TV. So I wrote a med student for myself. I had a lot of friends who I went to school with, and my own sister-in-law, who's an ER doc now. So I had kind of that pulling from real life experience, but then getting to use that background as an actor to write a story, to specifically highlight, just as you said, like the relationship drama. And I'm particularly interested in kind of that medical jargon versus the lay person, and where we have clash in relationships because people aren't quite speaking the same language.
Understandable. So you acted, wrote,
Yes.
co-directed, slash all kinds of stuff, um, and that is great, because in the independent film world, sometimes stuff just has to get done, and you don't have someone for every single position, because you're just limited by budgets, time, and effort, whatever it takes. You've
Yeah.
got to get this thing done. But I got to ask you, at some point, everyone learns something from every production. Uh, is there anything you learned in particular that you can remember with this production, that maybe, just some new information, or just new ways to do things?
I mean, so honestly, so much. I feel I learned something at every stage of this process. Um, how to summarize? I mean, one of the things that people in my life did for me, they really helped me take my own ideas seriously and keep, don't just write, don't just write a scene. Let's, really flesh out the script and let's rehearse it more and let's, cast another actor and let's really film this with great cameras. And, all of a sudden something that I had conceived of as, again, a project for an acting reel became this, fully fledged short film. So I think I learned a lot about like what it takes to get a project over the finish line. I learned that I love being on set. I have always loved film acting and being on set. I love writing a lot. I really care a lot. I'm the type of person who's, nitpicking the story along when I watch movies, especially if it's in a, a science or a sci-fi genre. I'm world building and going, well, wait a minute, you said this at the beginning and now, that's just how my brain works. So I loved those things. Co-directing the film was, that was the biggest challenge. And I feel like I have a new appreciation for the role of the director, because it's not just what you're doing on the day of, that's kind of what I knew about the side of directing. And really the real work of directing was all that stuff afterward, to really push this thing, just keep pushing it every step, how to get it across the finish line, all the very end. All of that post-production work, that whole world was new to me. So I think I learned a lot about that and how long it takes to finish something that feels, oh, this is, a 5.5 minute long film. It's going to be easy to finish. And nothing is easy when you're really investing in making it as good as it can be. And I feel very lucky that I had a lot of talented people and their talent made my work look better. I think every person who worked on my film made it better. So I learned a lot from everyone I worked with.
All right. Well, next question I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to show a couple pictures while you're talking, so I hope that doesn't distract you. But casting and rehearsals. I mean, again, your two roles. Talk to me about how you found your co-star, and how did you separate in your mind, the actor, the writer, and co-director?
Yeah. Oh, what a great question. So we shot this film during the pandemic. My friend who co-directed with me, his name is Timothy Huls. He's a great filmmaker and actor in LA. And he found Jessica Lee Risco, who is my co-star. She is really, really wonderful in the film. She really pushed me. We worked really well together. And something that Tim had us do in the initial process, I had written a script and then we were on Zoom because they're in LA and I'm in New York City, which, during the pandemic, before the pandemic, that might have been strange, or they might have flown out to New York for us to shoot. But during the pandemic, everybody was on Zoom. So we rehearsed on Zoom and we were improvising a lot off of the script and then rewriting the script based on those improvs to make it really feel natural and to really get at the heart of like, what would you really say, to your sister? How can we make this relationship really specific? So rewriting based on the rehearsal process, that was really huge. And I was just lucky that, Tim was able to pull from his network of actors and cast someone who would, look the part of my sister, but also just do a really fantastic, really beautiful job in the film. So I was lucky that he found her and we came together as a trio, and we shot. So I shot on the streets of Brooklyn in my neighborhood, and then they were shooting in her kitchen in LA. So the film does take place cross country, one sister on one side and one sister on the other, and we were actually shooting that way as well.
So you didn't have to fake it.
We didn't have to fake it. Again, we shot during the pandemic and then have since finished. So it worked. It worked out that the way that we filmed it kind of meshed with the storytelling. So yeah, you get creative when you experience constraint. You just find a way to work and adapt, and you make it work.
For sure. Well, what is it that you're going to be working on next? What's in the future? Now that you're not dealing with as many COVID restrictions and you're not necessarily forced to do something.
Thank goodness.
I like how you made lemonade. It's like, let's just make this thing.
That's what artists do. So I am a theater actor. I'm always auditioning in New York City. Also a TV actor. So I've got auditions. I also I actually just booked a cabaret show. I can't give too many details yet, but I do have a one-woman show that I'll be performing in New York City in May. So, you know, if you want to follow along for the folks who are watching, you can find me on social media, on the internet, to check that out. And I'm also, the next film project that I'm writing is a medical procedural. So I'm continuing to kind of reach back toward the medical background that I have, and again, just get one step closer to playing a TV doctor.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you taking the time, and you know, definitely looking forward to seeing what you produce in the future and seeing what you come up with. So, is there anything that you'd like to add before we go?
Thank you. I mean, I just want to say thank you to you, to your whole team, to the Oregon Short Film Festival. This was my first film festival experience, and you set the bar so high. I felt such a warm welcome into your community. The judges who watched the film and, you know, gave me that award, Most Original Concept, to as a writer, writing material for myself. That was a huge honor. So just a huge thank you to everyone who got me here and supported the work and helped me out at every step of the way. I'm really grateful to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and we appreciate you bringing us good content. I always get butterflies when people are like, "You're my first film festival." It's like, really? It's like,
I know. Should I not admit that?
no,
But
no,
now that it went well, I
it's
can admit it.
super cool. I mean, sometimes you just don't realize. Sometimes you just get so involved in the work. You know, we're just trying to make these things happen that it's hard to understand the impact you're making on people. And I always tell people, you go to a film festival, yes, you go there to network, and yes, you go there to kind of as a get together with family or maybe people you haven't seen in a while, and yes, you're celebrating your art. But I think the number one benefit of a live film festival is that you get to see other people watch your film and other people that you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, mom and dad are going to tell you it's great. You know, friends are gonna really sugarcoat things because they're your friends. But until you put it in front of a crowd and you get that live experience, I think that makes you a better filmmaker because you see what people are reacting to and you're seeing the effect on people. And thanks for making the trip. Thanks for braving the elements. But
Oh my
most
gosh.
of all, thanks for giving us great content.
Oh, totally my pleasure. Yeah, can't wait for the next thing. We'll see what happens next.
All right, and hopefully we'll see your film one day on Film Festival Circuit TV too. So
Yes, yeah, I'd love that.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good one.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks so much.